Fancy Pants is a long way from here.
Three. Here's the Davidson Freeway. Blocks and blocks and blocks. Okay, we crossed the Davidson Freeway. And here we are at what used to be called the Fancy Pants. Right there. And Vincent Chen was blocks away, way down there, when he got killed.
You can't
So
even
he
see the
was in
Grand
a
Liquor sign.
bloody stupor, followed by Nits and Evans.
Let me do that again.
Where
Take
they
a look at this.
Basically,
I put a zoom on the shot, and you can't even see the Grand Liquor sign from the old Fancy Pants Club. And I'm talking about the new Grand Liquor sign, the 2022 version that sits along Woodward Avenue. Now, I zoomed down Woodward, and you couldn't even see it. That's how long of a run Vincent Chen did. He ran for blocks and blocks and blocks to get away from these guys. He went into the McDonald's, and they pulled him out onto the street and killed him. The actions of Evans and Nitz, they were just frankly shocking, even to the police.
And because it's a predominantly 90% black neighborhood, and to see a male white get out of a car with a baseball bat, the first thing I was thinking that maybe it was coming from the Tiger Stadium baseball game.
Mr. Evans and Mr. Nitz jumped out from behind the truck, attempted to grab Vincent Chen, who they cornered up in the phone booth here.
Mr. Nitz had to grab Mr. Vincent Chen in a bear hug while Mr. Evans swung a bat, repeatedly striking Mr. Chen.
Evidently, Mr. Chen broke loose. He ran out into the middle of the street, and he stopped. He slipped. Mr. Evans was standing over him with a baseball bat. He had it with both hands, and he was hitting him in the top of his head.
He swung the bat as if a baseball player was swinging for a home run.
I identified myself as a police officer. I showed him a badge and an ID card. I had my weapon drawn. I asked him to drop the baseball bat.
He hesitated, at which time he eventually dropped the baseball bat. But at that particular time, the damage had been done.
When we pulled up, we found there was an Oriental gentleman. His skull was obviously fractured. There was brains laying on the street. And Chin was obviously in a fatal condition. He wasn't dead yet. He was semi-conscious, but from my experience of being on the street for so long, the man was a goner.
Unfortunately, there would be no wedding. His beautiful fiancée, Vicky, was with him at the end.
I was with him for 4 days, every day, going there and see him, just sit next to him. But he was unconscious. So, then we pulled the plug.
What's so shocking about the Vincent Chen case is that the disrespect just kept coming, because a crime on the same scale happened after the fact, when his killers walked away with probation.
And in what outraged the Asian community, both escaped a 15-year prison term. Instead, they were placed on 3 years probation and given a $3,000 fine because neither had a previous criminal record, and both had what the judge called stable working backgrounds.
The victim lingered for 4 days, which again, based upon everything, was indicative to me that they attempted to administer a punishment. They did this too severely in careless, reckless disregard of human life, which is what manslaughter is. And that's what they were found guilty of, and that's what I predicated my sentence on. Had it been a brutal murder, of course these fellows would be in jail now.
Judge Kaufman is absolutely nuts. The dude is crazy. Okay, he was a World War II veteran. He was a prisoner of war in a Japanese camp. That's probably why he has prejudice against Asian people. It has to be, because there's no way in the world that these guys should walk away with probation. And this guy seems that it's okay for them to give Vincent Chin punishment? Is he serious? The unfortunate part is, yes, he was serious. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. It's just not fair. It's not fair. And by the way, those were Vincent Chin's last words. It's not fair. Imagine if you're Young Suk Kim and you hear the racism firsthand every day.
Korea, I was one of those infants that didn't have any information. I was put into a baby home and then later a foster care home. And right around 6-9 months I came to the States. Because my family was not Asian American, they sided more with the Ibens family. They were more the disgruntled, armchair, adamant family, like, oh, he got what he deserved, he shouldn't have been at the bar.
Asians and everybody else should get mad. I mean, even 40 years later. Yes.
Much attention outside the Detroit area. Then a sentence was handed down last month. And now Bernard Goldberg explains why there is an explosion of outrage and sense of betrayal.
That sentence, the fact that no one was sent to prison for even 1 day, that has so many people outraged and charging that the two men who beat Vincent Chin to death literally got away with murder.
There's no law in this country? Huh? Is it because he is Chinese?
Is that what you think?
I think that's what it is. Discrimination. We don't want that. We want justice.
Asian Americans get off their asses. You know, enough trying to like fit in and appease everybody. You know, the Asian community gets very, very infuriated when, you know, Abercrombie and Fitch makes a funny t-shirt or something like that. Well, you know what? I think we should sort of own it and attack back. You know, enough demanding like apologies. Attack back.
There was just wholesale discrimination throughout this entire case. You have an Asian victim. You have his killers arrested by black police officers. And when it came to the courtroom, they didn't hear the victim's side at all. They didn't even care. No witnesses, didn't even contact his mother or the police officers or witnesses from the club. This was a modern day lynching from beginning to end.
佔靚妹啊！講話判啦，我監到判先啦。我本年都唔係我法庭啦，我就問一句話唔係判我要強話幾個人都咁樣，佢係白人咧，我啲小孩紅人佢都係個人都唔呀，我冇嚟掉，都唔想我而講，佢殺人都唔想我到媽媽呀，媽媽幾個唔想輪換我，唔想用我上法庭唔用冇得講。
Yeah, we all were surprised that they didn't come to us and ask us what happened. You know, all the dancers were like shocked.
When you have two police officers as eyewitnesses, you have any type of crime, I believe both officers should have been notified for court. Both officers should have went to court. And both officers should have been notified of any plea bargaining. In this matter, I would have to say, maybe the last to know.
I appreciate this lady. She's Eben's neighbor, and she's not afraid to speak out. She understands common sense.
Walk away after you've killed a man. I don't care for what reason, whether it was a drunken brawl or whether it was for racial means or whatever. You just don't absolutely go and beat a man to death with a baseball bat.
Even Ronald Ebens himself thought he was going to be locked up.
Well, to be quite honest, I expected to go to jail. I pleaded guilty to manslaughter on that. I did just like anybody else. I went to take my licks because I thought sure I would go to jail. And I was prepared to go, really, as much as you can be prepared for something like that.
This is Lily Chin visiting the grave of her son, Vincent. Today, she lies next to him at Forest Lawn Cemetery in Detroit. In the end, Vincent Chin has become a martyr, and his case is forever a beacon for the disenfranchised. We are remembering Vincent Chin at the Monthly Standard. Never forget Vincent Chin. This has been a Monthly Standard production. Please visit us at www.themonthlystandard.news. Thanks for watching.